So, no aloha, everyone. Let me know if you can hear me clearly. Okay. Let me just check my sound. Okay, the sound looks like it's on. Okay. Great. So if you could put down your type, your human design type in your profile if you know it, and then your astrology information if you want to. Okay, I'm seeing some comments here. Great. Okay. Let me just check. Because there's a delay. Okay. Okay, that sounds good. Great. Okay, where to start? It's going to be quite the weekend, and it's going to be launching the energies of the fall, which you will see when I bring this up. Okay. So, let's see here. Perfect. Great. Okay, great. Thanks everybody for putting your comments down there, and be sure to like and subscribe if you haven't already. And okay, so let's see here, and we're gonna go to, oops, wrong one. Okay. And is everybody's energy returning back? It should be this Sunday. You should start to feel an energy surge with Uranus going retrograde. Okay, so where to start? Okay, so this is the new moon. The new moon. And you can see that it's activating the 40th gate right down here. That's coming off the willpower center. And then it's the the programming partner of the 40 is the 37. So they make a channel. Not every programming partner makes a channel. Only the 4323 and the 3420, right? And the 4037. Okay. So this is an important one, as you know, when I talk about the cross of planning that we're leaving right here, right? The cross of planning. You can see here the 2027, so 1615 to 2027. These are the 400-year global cycles that humanity goes through. And so we're leaving this one behind. So these are the major themes of the cross of planning, which you can see right here is 4037 and the 16 and the 9. Okay, so the motivation of humanity for the cross of planning for the last 400 years was motivated to focus on gaining the right skills so that we could work for the tribe. And this is the 4037. So let's go back to here. And as we know, the cross of planning is breaking down. I call it the Titanic. The Titanic is sinking. And all these institutions that were created and maintained for 400 years are starting to break down, right? These support systems are breaking down. And this is really the heart. This 4037, the channel of community, is the heart of this whole global cycle. So this is going through a huge mutation. And the new moon is activating the 40th. And you'll notice that it's a 6 line, 40.6. So, which means mutation, right? Whenever you see a 6 line in your natal chart, remember this is a transit chart. It's not a natal chart. So if you have this natally, you're going to resonate with it, resonate with this channel. So it's going through a huge mutation. 6 lines always mean mutation. If you see a 6 line in your any of your gates, then that's where you're going to be going through a mutation. Okay. So where should we begin here? And did I put my Pluto? I don't think okay. Okay, let's start here because this is kind of the baseline. So Pluto is moving back into Capricorn from September the 1st, right? So the new moon is the September 2nd, and Pluto moves into Capricorn on September 1st. That's this Sunday. And what does this mean? This is huge, right? Pluto goes into Capricorn September 1st until November 19th. So Pluto's been in Capricorn since 2008. Okay, so Pluto is connected to, let's see. So Pluto in terms of tarot, because I like to put tarot in here with it, is Pluto represents the Judgment card. Judgment, and then Capricorn is the Devil card. Okay, so this fits with the archetype of Pluto because Judgment is about. You can see the picture there if you know tarot. It's the angels coming down, and the people from the dead are answering the call. So it's a deep resurrection. It's renewal. It's purpose. It's reflection. It's a reckoning. So it's like. That's what Pluto does. Pluto doesn't destroy. Pluto regenerates. It regenerates. It brings something up from the dead, but it brings up something of truth, right? So, and Capricorn is related to the Devil card, and the Devil card is the ego, basically. It's the ego. It's materialism, right? It's our fears. It's our doubts, and Capricorn represents these structures that have been in place for a long, long time. This is the hierarchy that we've lived in. This is the age of Pisces. We've lived in this hierarchy model, right? Where the few rule the many. And this is all coming to a close, basically. So this is the last couple months, right? So September, October, November, 2.5 months of Pluto and Capricorn. So we're really going to see truth, a lot of truth coming up, ugly truth coming up, shadows coming up, all that devil energy coming up for us to see as a collective. What else does it represent? Power. Yeah, and power. The power structures that are not they're not aligned with truth, right? These power structures. So then it's 60.4, right? And 60.4, so it's not going to move in terms of human design. It's going to stay the same. It's going to stay in the 60.4 and Pluto the whole time. But it's worth noting because it is moving into Capricorn. So you can see. And then it's in Aquarius after November 19th, and that's for 20 more years. It's going to be in that place. So you want to look at your natal chart, like your astrological natal chart, and you can see where Capricorn, what house does Capricorn rule in your, so if you're a Leo, Capricorn rules your 6th house, right? Or if you're an Aries rising, then it rules your 10th house. Right, so that's the house that it's going to go back into, and whatever you've been working on, whatever Pluto's been working on in your life since 2008, it's like coming up to just finish it up, and bring it to a close, So you can see here the 60. Let's come back to human design. The 60 is coming off the root chakra, and it's been there quite a while. The 60th gate. And the 60.4, so it's the gate of acceptance. It's called this gate of acceptance, the 60. It's the shadow of limitation. Okay? But it's also got this 4th, see the 60.4. So that gives us even more information. And the keynote for that is resourcefulness. That's with a C, yeah. Resourcefulness. So what does this mean? Well, it's the 4. If it were 60.1 or 60.2 or 60.3, there would be like this sense of resignation, like the change is never going to happen, basically, right? But we're in the 4th line. So this means that, right? This means that we know, if it's 60.4, we know that the 3 is on the other side. The 3 is on the other side, right? Because the 60 and the 3, if they joined up and they were colored in, that would be a channel. And this is the channel of mutation. So the 60.4 knows that the 3 is on the other end. It's conscious that the 3 is on the other end. So it knows that change is coming, right? It knows that change is coming. So as a collective, we know that change is coming. So we're going to be okay with feeling limited during this time. We're already in this energy anyway. We've been in this energy for a while. It's like, okay, we know the change is coming, and it's okay for now to feel limited in our life. And yes, it can be tiring, it can be exhausting, but we know that change is coming. And we know that huge change is coming, right? With this 3, we know huge mutation is coming. But it can come with a lot of depression, right? A lot of depression. So if you're feeling that, that's completely normal. This repression of energy, depression, that's just part of the chemistry of, because this is an individual gate, an individual channel. And that always comes with a chemistry, and it's like a melancholy, right? It's a melancholy or depression. It's a chemistry in the body, and that means that mutation is gestating, and it's about to be released. So this could come with depression, right? These 2.5, the fall, basically, all of the fall, or this year, right? This year. So what else was I going to say about that? Just to be aware of that. And if you have this natally, you know exactly what I'm talking about. I know what I wanted to say. It's because the mutation, the evolution that we're going through, it's happening through each one of us. It's not happening to us, it's happening through us, right? This mutation. So just to keep that in mind. And we don't like to feel limited. People do not like to feel limited. So maybe you're feeling limited in your resources, limited in your relationships, limited in how free you feel. Remember, it's the gate of acceptance, right? So it's just accepting that this is temporary. It's temporary. It's not permanent. Okay, so that's happening. Pluto, that's big news. Uranus, the other big news, right? The unusual, this is the program, right? This is the transit program. That's in the 8, and this is the gate of contribution. It's the gate of contribution. It's about being your authentic self. It's all about authenticity, the 8. So Uranus is about liberation, and it's going retrograde, so that's making that more powerful. So there's that energy. And then we've got this, if we look up here. So this is the head center, or the crown chakra, we call it as a yogi. And this is the ajna. That's not your third eye, it's your personal mind in human design. And what makes that colored in is the 63 is in Saturn and the 4 is in Mercury. So those join up and they make a channel. And this is a channel of logic. It's a channel of logic. So this is trying to alleviate doubt, right? Trying to alleviate doubt. So we have that energy happening at the same time as this channel of community, right? So this is collective. That's collective energy, and this is tribal energy. This is tribal energy. With the 40 and the 37, and the 40 is in the moon and the sun, and activating the 37, which is the earth, and that's grounding. Okay, so what I want you to remember, that this is a transit chart. This is a transit chart. This is not who you are. You have your own natal chart, and that's what you want to obey. But this is the program, excuse me, that's leading humanity. That's leading humanity. So if you go unconscious or you stay asleep, then you will be ruled by this pattern. Now, does this pattern have your best interests in mind? No, it doesn't. This is for the people that are born during this time. That if somebody's born right now or born during the new moon, they're going to have this, and they'll have their red side too, but they'll have this, these numbers, right? These activations, and that's correct for them, right? That's their authentic self. But this is a transit that we're influenced by, and so this can pull us away from our authenticity. So if you don't have the 4037, right? You don't have that natally, then suddenly you're looking for community, right? You want to belong somewhere. You want to belong somewhere. Maybe you want to start a family. You want to start a family. Is that correct for you? No. If you don't have this, no, it's not correct for you, right? But it just behooves us to be aware of what the program is. It's like, oh, that's why I'm thinking about that. But as soon as this transit, as soon as we're out of the 4037, this isn't activated anymore, then those thoughts and those motivations will leave, right? Will leave us. So you always want to go back to your authentic self. This program that I mentioned this in the Twin Flame webinar, and I'm having it tomorrow too. There's one more, so you can jump in and you can watch the first class like right away. So just keep that in mind. There's room for more people. So this is the program, and this program is not for we humans. We humans. So you're a human, but after 2027, there's going to be the new species will start to be born. And this program is really for them now. It's for them. It serves this new species that's coming. It's not for us anymore. It's not for us anymore. But this is the window of time where we really have the opportunity to be our authentic self, right? Before we needed to play along with this tribal consciousness in order to survive. The bargain, right? I do this for you, you do this for me. Right, I work here, and you give me a paycheck. Right, you give me a paycheck. You appreciate me through valuing my work and blah blah blah. The bargain. This is all breaking down. Right, so this is no longer going to be so powerful on our planet, but our authenticity is going to be powerful for us humans. We humans. So your purpose. The new raves that are coming after 2027, their purpose is oneness, is to experience oneness. So they're going to be way ahead of the game anyway, just how they're designed. But we humans, that's not our purpose. It's not our purpose to experience this or to strive for oneness on the planet. We're here to strive for our uniqueness and to differentiate. That's the highest purpose of the human, is to differentiate. And this isn't about the ego and being special. It's about you being your unique, authentic self in this lifetime. That's your purpose as a human. The new species, that's not them. They're not here for that. They're here to be in oneness with one another. They're not going to have an authentic identity like we do, right? So that's our potential. But the program is going to take all those other humans that are not empowering themselves to be their authentic self, and they'll be led into the hive mind, right? But that's not correct for them as humans, right? But that's where the program will take them. Okay, so I want you to keep that in mind, that's your purpose, is to be your unique self in this lifetime, and that's what's going to protect you. It's going to bring you prosperity, right? It's going to help you to thrive and survive, all of those things. It's all about your authenticity. It's all about your authenticity, and not to get pulled into this program, but use it, right? You can use it. So we've got the 40.6, and we've got to look at even underneath this program. And I put some keynotes here. The foundation, right, here is security and guilt. Those are the two. This is the motivation, right? These are the motivations, the security and guilt. Security and guilt with this. So how does that work? Okay. Because right now, Pluto's moving into Capricorn. So it's all about keeping power, keeping these structures, keeping you as your not self, right? This is the battle right now. Your not self versus your authentic self as your authentic self. So the program's not going to just go, here you go, this is you. No, it's leading humanity into this hive mind, basically, this hive mind. And that's the not self world. That's the not self world. There's no power for you there whatsoever. So you'll be tested. You'll be tested, right? You're not self versus authentic self. So you want to be choosing your authentic self. So this is the beauty of human design. It gives you a system. It gives you a system. It's like a little compass. Oh, this is who I am. I can count on this because human design is a system for right now, right? For you to move through this time. Okay, so we've got security and guilt. This is part of the program. This is part of the program. Security and guilt. Okay, so we've got this logic channel. And remember, if you have this natally, then it's you. But if you don't, this isn't you. This is what's going to pull you away. This new moon, it's a new moon cycle. And we're moving into some heavy, intense times this fall. So using logic, the logical mind, right? Through guilt, right? Through guilt. And this is what the tribal consciousness uses, controlling people through guilt and shame and fear. And security, right? To get you into a group, this 4037. In order to be safe, to be secure, I'm going to listen to this logic, right? So it could come through a friend or a relative or some kind of authority figure, maybe even the government will come through with this. This logical reasoning, this makes logical sense. Why you should bargain, right? Bargain. So bargain means I'm sacrificing my authenticity in order to survive the security, or I'll be controlled through guilt, right? I'll be controlled through guilt. Why I should belong to this community that may or may not be correct for you, right? Or family or whatever it is. And I like to look at, you guys know the Matrix, right? Let me just get this out here. I'll put this here. The last one of the Matrix, the Resurrections. I'm bringing this up. There's a message here. So this is the last of the Matrix series so far. And so basically they put them back into the Matrix. I'm not going to explain the Matrix. I'm pretty sure most people probably listening have seen this. It's right, 1999. It was a pivotal movie. But there's a lot of spiritual truth in it, right? So this is about waking up from the not self world. So they're in their little pods, like physically, they're in their pods. They're like batteries for the machines. But then their consciousness is out in the Matrix, or the program. I would call it the program, human design. So it's really a story about waking up from the not self world. Okay, so this is part of the tests. So these karmic relationships. So he ends up being a video game guy, a video game programmer. So he's inserted with memories, taking the blue pill. Remember the blue pill is to go back to sleep. She got the blue pill, and hers was, she was a mother of like three children, I think, and married, and exhausted, right? Exhausted from her duties and stuff as a mother. So she meets him. She doesn't remember him at all, but then there's a soul recognition, and then they remember each other, little bits of memories. He remembers more than her, right? So finally they meet, and she's got to decide. She's got to choose. Is she going to choose to go with him in her soul destiny, in her power? Or is she going to go back to these karmic relationships? So whenever she would meet him, like there'd be an emergency, somebody would call, oh, your son put Lego up his nose and things like that. And then it was all about keeping her away from her destiny. So this would be tribal consciousness. So at the end, it's like, so you're so-and-so's in the hospital. She was chasing after you, trying to follow you, coming to meet him, Neo, right? And this is the guilt, right? This is the controlling through the guilt and the fear. So we're tested all the time. And then finally, she's remembering, and the husband's getting persuasive, and then he uses force, and then his true self is coming out. It's like he's part of the matrix to pull her out of her soul destiny. So I know this is extreme and it's a fiction, but these kinds of things happen to us all the time. And this is about keeping you in the not self, right? Your not self world. So you want to start looking, especially this fall, what are those relationships that are in, like the people around you, or the work or the living situation that are around you? Are they serving your highest self, your authentic self? Or do they get triggered when you start to step into your power and start to be your authentic self? You start to stand up for yourself. You start to speak the truth. You start to break away from these security guilt programs from the tribe, right? Like what happens? People will start showing themselves to you now. And these are the tests, right? So now is the time to stand up, right? Stand up for your authenticity. And it's interesting enough too, with the 40.6, the 9 of Pentacles connects with the 40.6. And this is about self-reliance. It's about self-reliance. And that's a big word for the cross of the sleeping phoenix that's coming, right? Because it's the age of the individual. It's going to be the age of like the sheep, right? Hive mind people, the NPCs, but it's also the age of the individual for the people that are empowered and that are going to really step in and take this opportunity to finally be their authentic self, So this is what the 9 of Pentacles is about. This is like the lower, if you know the Empress in the Major Arcana, this is Empress in training, is the 9 of Pentacles. She's whole unto herself. She's not dependent on other people, and she's not dependent on karmic relationships. She's not dependent on the system. She's self-reliant. So this is what this new moon is showing us. And what's really interesting for the collective, again, it's got keynotes, right? The 40.6. And this is decapitation. It's called decapitation. And this is the 40.6. And this is very emotional. So we'll see this out in the collective of who is not honoring their word, right? Because this is the gate of deliverance. Who is not delivering, right? Who's not delivering out in our world, these so-called leaders? Why is it decapitation? Because if you go back to the French Revolution, right? It's called that because of the guillotine. It's like a whole, they completely went after a whole class of people. So it's like an echo of this time. And I'm not saying that this is going to happen, but it's just that energy will start to come up. People are going to start to wake up. They're going to start to wake up, right? So who's not in honoring their word? Who's not following through on their promises that they're making about delivering on their promises? We're going to start to really see this. And it's decapitation because it means it's taking those people. This person needs to be taken out of that position of power. They're not following through. And this will be en masse, right? 37 rules social uprisings. It's about equality, right? So personally for you, with the 40, right? Personally for you, it's called the shadow of exhaustion, right? Shadow of exhaustion. This is our willpower. Right here is our willpower. So it's exhaustion because it's about setting boundaries, right? It's about setting boundaries. That's the big lesson with the 40 if you have this natally. But it will be during this transit, we're going to be influenced by this. And it's dependent on personal will. It's dependent on your personal will. Okay? And what this does, it causes stomach problems. Right? So if you have stomach problems or digestive issues, then you're depending on your personal will and not on divine will. So depending on your personal will, and if it's not correct for you, that will get depleted, and this creates stomach problems, right? So this is why it's called exhaustion. And it's the gift of resolve. So it's getting good. It's about valuing, like the Nine of Pentacles. It's valuing your energy. It's valuing your time, right? It's saying no, right? This is about working. Love of work or not the love of work. So it's the setting the boundaries is like, no, this is not correct for me. I'm not going to do this. And then you've got this logic. And then you've got security and guilt. And that's the test, right? This is why it's not so prevalent that people are their authentic self. Because as soon as you start standing up for yourself, right, and really operating from truth, which is your authenticity, then you're faced with this. And that's the tribe controlling through, right, guilt and fear. So you've got to watch that. The other thing, too, with the 40, it's also a love gate, because there's love gates in human design, too. So the 40 is I need to earn. I need to earn that love. I need to earn your love, right? I need to earn your love. So this is another thing that you've got to let go of. Right? That's not correct for you. Because this is breaking down. It was like I would earn. I earn for you. I'm the breadwinner. And then you appreciate me. And that was the bargain. And this bargain's breaking down now. Okay. What else did I want to say about this? Well, let me look at some comments. And just rest my brain for a bit here. Okay. Satnam, everybody. Okay. Satnam aloha. Yes, the feeling of change is in the air, and we're really going to see it this fall. Okay. Yeah. Sea Moon says, I feel some sadness of letting go, grieving the past and present, but happy to at the same time. Gratitude and trust that better improved and new is ahead. Yes. Yeah. Okay. Okay. Yeah, full on change. Yeah. Karen's Corner said, hasn't that been the battle since learning about human design? Yeah, self, not self. Yep. Okay. Sea Moon says, what's the difference between the hive mind and oneness? Well, the hive mind is the not self, right? So we've got two species. We've got a whole new species that's coming in, and they'll start being born in 2027, and they're called raves, right? So they are coming in, and they share awareness. They're going to be very odd to us humans. These raves, they're completely different. They're all going to have the solar plexus already mutated, so they're not going to be emotional. They're not going to have the ajna, right? They'll have this. They won't have these two centers here, so they're not going to be able to communicate, right? They're not going to be able to communicate with us per se. not like we communicate with one another as humans. So they're going to be relying on the all rights. Remember, if you got my recorded readings and you know the arrows, they're going to be relying on the people that have rightness. Those are the people that are going to be able, the humans can interact with them and be able to communicate for them. So they're coming in with a shared awareness. Remember with the limo in human design, I've sometimes used that image that we're a passenger consciousness and we're sitting in our limo and there's nobody else that can be in that limo with you, right? Because you're one, right? You're alone. You're alone basically as a human in that limo. But these raves are no, right? So they operate in pentas, they're called. There's 5 of them, right? There's 5 of them. So they need to be together, right? So the fear that Ra said is that they'll be institutionalized, because that's what humans do when we don't understand, is we hide them away. There's something wrong with them. No, they're the evolution. They're the new species, but they operate together. They have a shared awareness, right? So this is the oneness. Hive mind means we're just sharing the same mind. We're being programmed. The hive mind is everybody's being programmed to think the same. We're already seeing it with the mass hypnosis after 2020, right? Mass formation hypnosis. Right? Whatever I saw, people don't even know where they're getting these thoughts from, but they're getting them from mainstream news. They're being programmed into the hive mind to think the same, behave the same, right? Completely going away from their authenticity. So that's the difference, right? That's the difference right there. That's in a nutshell, right? That's in a nutshell. Okay. Well, let me see here, back to the comments. No, Sea Moon, here's the secret. She also asked another good question. So we're not to strive or focus on oneness. I thought that was what meditation was all about. I'm confused on that. So all you have to do is be your authentic self. Your authentic self, right? Your authentic self has nothing to do with your ego, right? Has nothing to do with the ego or the mind. Your authenticity is your soul, right? Your authenticity is your soul. So automatically you're going to be in this state of oneness, right? You're in this state of oneness. This is a different approach than the new species. So you go to your soul. The divine is within you, right? Your divine is within you. Your authenticity, that's your soul, is within you. And then automatically there's this oneness. But we don't get to the oneness until we're our authentic self. Because if we try to leapfrog over that, then that's what religion is. And that's groupthink. That's groupthink. They're not their authentic selves, right? These religious fanatics, right? They're not their unique, authentic self. They're just being programmed, right, into the hive mind. So that's what I would say to you. That's where the state of oneness is, which is like I can experience me because I am in this body, I am in this form, right? I'm in this vehicle, and this is my authenticity. And automatically I'm connected to all that is. The oneness is trying to check out. I'm just going to be one with the cosmos, and I'm not going to be in my body, right? I'm going to try to eliminate any iota of identity that holds me in this physical plane. And this is the thing, is that this is a cosmic joke, that enlightenment isn't about checking out of the body in the physical form. It's actually becoming more and more present. Yeah. Anyway, I hope that answers your question with that. I mean, that's another video. Okay. So let's go for some messages here. 46 minutes already. Time flies when you're having fun, eh? Okay. Okay, let's see here. overlays. Okay. So let's start off with the twin flame reading. Right there. Yeah. Bum, 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 bum. Okay. Okay. So I talked about the twin flames, and they're the new relationships that are coming for that 55.6 that's being activated in 2027. That's the new theme. And remember, there's a webinar series, and it's ending tomorrow, but you can still join in for the last live class. And there's lots of information. I talk about the raves and the new species, actually, in that last class, and how the twin flames are a stepping stone to this new species. Okay. So what I will say about twin flames, it's really about awakening. It's about your awakening. It's about going through an ego death. And the whole planet is going through an ego death, but when you attract your twin flame, you fast track that. Okay. We'll just do an ego card. I'll do an ego card for each. Okay. I may just do one, actually. Let's do it. Okay. What do we have for the twin flame? Chase though. Okay. And then some guidance for the twin flames. Okay, what do we have for them? Another for guidance. The twin flames. Okay. So the glass is half full, half empty. And then the Who's Your Daddy card. Who's your daddy? And then the Nine of Wands. The Nine of Wands. And then the Knight of Swords. Okay. So let's bring that back, twin flames, to this full moon. So the full moon's in the 40. And it's interesting with this glass is half full, half empty. So this is about your perception. This is about your perception. So remember, as a twin flame, you are going through ego death. You're going through the dark night of the soul. The dark night of the soul. So everything is about you, right? So the divine counterpart, that's your mirror. That's your mirror. So everything that you see in your divine counterpart, you're seeing yourself. And that's the beauty of the twin flame journey, is you get to see these places that nobody else can show you, these places except your twin flame. So if we go here to the solar plexus. Let me just get me out of the way for a second here. Up here. There we go. If we go to this thing about perception, we have to go. The 55 isn't activated in this transit chart, but there it is there, and it's coming off the solar plexus. And this is the first stage of the solar plexus mutation. The solar plexus mutation. Okay. Which is important for the twin flame journey. Because as a chaser, if you're the chaser, I'm speaking to the chasers here, is you're learning through your emotions, right? You're learning through your emotions. The runner is learning through their mental body, but you're learning through your emotional body. Okay? And that's this, and that's this. And so the 55 is the first stage in the solar plexus mutation, this 55. And the 55 is about the half glass, right? The glass is half full, the glass is half empty. But it depends on this, right? So the 55 is the gate of spirit. It's the gate of spirit. So if I'm filled with spirit, I'm animated with spirit, then the glass is half full. That's how I perceive the world. The glass is half full. But if I'm not filled with spirit, and I'm filled with ego, right, then the glass is half empty, and I just see what I'm missing. So you can do this in the twin flame journey as a chaser. Well, my twin flame's missing, right? My twin flame's over there. I'm in separation from my twin flame, right? The glass is half empty. Is that true? No. Because there's no separation. That's what the twin flame journey is about, is to recognize that there's no separation. There never was any separation. And this illusion that there's a separation. So this is about not giving up hope, right? With the 55, it's not giving up hope. It's not giving your power over to, because the ego wants you focused, I'll be happy when this twin flame is back into my life. That's what the ego is promising you. I'll be happy when, right? If, when, if, when, if, when. And it's putting your happiness somewhere into the future, right? It's keeping you from living in the present now moment. And that's not the point. The point of the twin flame journey is not to be, oh, I'm with my twin flame. The point of the twin flame journey is to wake up, right? Is to wake up and to realize your true identity, your true self, right? Your divine nature. To let go of these ego identities, to let go of the not self. To let go of the not self, right? That's what this is all about. It's also a warning, too, is not to be writing dark stories. Oh, I can never be happy. This is listening to your ego, and that's the other ego card is, right? Who's your daddy? Are you going to be listening to the ego, or are you going to be listening to your divine self, your divine self? So going through an ego death, because that's what the twin flame journey is about, the ego death, that ego is going to come out full throttle. Ooh, right there, really loud in your ear. Right? And the ego death is like you start to question everything. You start to question your reality. You start to question your identity, what you've been doing with your life. Right? All those dark shadows start to emerge. Right? But the ego is right there because it doesn't want to die. Right? This is the not self. It's like a not self death. So this is the big test of this is the dark night of the soul card. This one right here. So this is when you continue to listen to your soul. Don't go into the glass is half empty. Go to, right? Just notice that, oh, my perception changes. When I'm in this energy of the ego, right? In this ego, and I'm in the throes of the emotions and the pain and the anguish, and then I see everything as the glass is half empty. Oh, I noticed that. Look how my perception changes, right? So this is really a test of your faith, right? This is Shaktipad in yogic teachings. This is your Shaktipad, and you're going through a test of faith. So you want to put all your faith in the divine, that this is happening for a reason, for my awakening. It has nothing to do with trying to get that other person. That other person's not going to take away your pain, right? That pain was already inside you, and it needs to be purged, right? It needs to be purged. So we've got the full moon in this 40, and this is Virgo, right? Virgo is all about purging, getting rid of what doesn't serve you, right? And then the guidance for the tarot card is to persevere. The Nine of Wands is to persevere. And the Knight of Swords was upside down. So that's about not being aggressive, right? Not being aggressive. Well, I'm going to make it happen, right? I'm going to give that maybe some egos coming up with some anger and blaming the twin flame. If they would just communicate to me and be honest, right? Then all this pain would go away. And then that's not true. This is like the bullying card. It's saying not to do this, right? Not to do this. Don't fall into this. This is falling into the ego. Well, I'm just going to make it happen then. I'm going to give them a piece of my mind, right? No, it says the Nine of Wands. This is the wounded warrior. It's the hold steady, right? He's still standing. He's got the wand. He's still standing. He's coming out. He's coming out out of battle, but he has not finished yet. Not finished yet. Okay. What else for this? Yeah, and to persevere, just persevere with your faith. Persevere with faith, and don't listen to that ego that's trying to like bully and make something happen. That's not gonna help you, right? At all. It's just gonna create more suffering. Okay. Anything else for the twin flames? And stick with your authenticity, right? If you're new to, maybe you've been attracted because you saw a twin flame in the title, then go get your human design chart. It's underneath the information box. And then if you're a human design person, just take this to heart, right? Human design doesn't disappear because you found your twin flame. To just be your authentic self, and not to get manipulated through logic. If you haven't watched the beginning of the video, logic, right? To get into marriage, because this can be the marriage channel too, through security and guilt, right? So either not staying in a marriage, right? Because you're your not self. Maybe you're your not self in this marriage. You're going to see that very soon enough, right? With the eclipse season and stuff. The timelines, Aquarius rules the timeline, right? The timelines are changing. Pluto's moving into Aquarius after November 19th. The timelines are shifting and changing. So there's no longer going to be any support for you to be a not self, right? So if there's a marriage partner that's continuing, like, no, I'm going to stay in my not self. I'm gonna completely buy into groupthink. I'm gonna buy into like giving my authority over to my mind. They're not choosing the higher timeline. You're choosing the higher timeline. Just to be aware of that. So watch the beginning of the video, not to get sucked into this, right? Being manipulated to make your choices through guilt, being guilted out, and then for security reasons. Out of fear or avoiding, right? Making decisions to avoid this feeling guilty. Okay? Because as soon as you stand up for yourself, then you got to deal with other people and their projection of guilt. That's the tribal consciousness. Okay. So that's the twin flame. And let's go to the generators. Let's see here. Overlays. Okay. Let's go for the generators. Right here. Okay, generators, we're talking about this full moon, or new moon, that's activated the 40th gate there. Okay, right there. And we know this. If you've been listening to my channel for a while, you know that the channel of community is breaking down. This is a major theme of the cross of planning as we move into the cross of the sleeping phoenix in 2027. Okay, so we're going to look at an ego card. And this has a lot to do with our relationships too, right? That 4037 are changing. Okay. Let's see here. The generators. Okay. What's the ego card for generator friends? What's the ego card for generator friends? Okay, you got two cards there. And then I want some guidance. Okay. So the generators for this new moon, they got the Pride card. That's the ego card, Pride. The need to win. The need to win. And then the Justice card there. And then the Seven of Wands card. Okay. So I'd like to tie this back into the chart if I can. And so the Pride, you see that? The 26. It's not activated for this new moon, but the 26 is the shadow of Pride. It's the shadow of Pride. And this is willpower. Okay. Okay. So the Pride card, Pride cometh before the fall, that famous saying, right? So this is about power, right? The ego is telling you that you need to not show any kind of vulnerability whatsoever, right? Because you can't look powerless. The ego says that vulnerability makes you look powerless. And so just a reminder, one of the major themes of the cross of the sleeping phoenix is this 59. And that's all about being vulnerable. In our relationships, it's about being honest. It's about being truthful, right? So the ego's got you in your ear. This is the old way, the age of Pisces, right? You can't look powerless. Your life may be falling apart, but you gotta look successful, even if you don't feel it, right? So, and this is a refusal. This is a complete refusal to humble the ego before your soul, because that's the city of the 26 is it's invisibility. So making the ego invisible. Okay. And then the need to win, so needing to be right. So that's a dangerous duo right there for this new moon, to let this go, right? This is the ego tricks. I got to get the last word in. I've got to avoid feeling shame. I got to avoid again. I don't want to look powerless. Right? So what's this doing? It's wasting your generator energy. Right? All your life force energy, and you're using that. You're using all your willpower and your life force energy to prop up this ego. And what are you doing? You're propping up your not self. So I would look at that, to let this go, right? So also look at the people around you, right? Maybe, I don't see this in myself, Michael. This isn't me, but I know a lot of people like this. Well, look around you in your life. Remember, this is a timeline shift that we're making, right? Uranus is going retrograde at the same time And right in the gate of contribution, this is all about you being your authentic self. To let this go. Maybe the people in your life are playing these games. They need to be right. They need to get the last word in. They can't be vulnerable. They're very prideful. They're not changing, right? They're choosing, right? What they're doing is they're choosing the ego, not self world. This is the hive mind world, the hive mind world that I talked about at the beginning of the video. You want to be choosing your authenticity now at this time. This is Virgo, right? 40 is Virgo, and Virgo's about sorting the wheat from the chaff, right? The wheat from the chaff. So letting go of these people that are not growing and evolving, generators. And it's like, well, how do I know? How do I know? Go to your sacral. Your sacral's going to let you know if that person's correct for me or not. You'll get the yes or the no from your strategy. I'm just talking about your strategy, not your authority. So, how do you know if somebody's not prideful? It's really easy. You start to be your authentic self, right? You start to be the Seven of Wands. Seven of Wands is saying to stand up for yourself. Stand up for yourself, for your authenticity. And like I said in the Twin Flame reading, it's like as soon as you start doing that and standing up for yourself and your authenticity, you get to see who people are, right? The masks come off, right? 26 is about pride, the shadow of pride. That's about wearing a mask. You get to see those masks. So that's what this is saying. Stand up for yourself, defend yourself, protect your authenticity. Protect your authenticity. Don't get sucked in by the logic of other people. Don't get sucked into like guilt, right? Being controlled. This is tribal consciousness, being controlled through guilt and fear, right? Well, you have to behave this way because that's not correct, right? That's not correct for you to behave this way. This is about making you feel guilty that you did something wrong because you stood up for yourself. You don't want to fall for that. This is a new moon cycle that's kicking off an intense time. This fall is going to be very intense for humanity. So you want to get really, really clear on your authenticity, and you want to pass these tests. You want to go to your natal chart. Do I have the channel of logic? No. Then this isn't me. Do I have the channel of community? No, this isn't me. And don't get sucked into it then. Stick with your whatever's colored in for you. That's you, right? And then justice. And this is about fairness. This is about fairness, right? So this is also could be, it's karmic, right? So it's ending some kind of karmic cycle with the 40.6 and the justice card here too. So being honest, being truthful, and let this karmic cycle come to an end. That's what it is. This need to win in pride. This is all karmic. That's what this is. Yeah. And things are moving very, very quickly. So these karmic relationships are coming to a close, whether we like that to happen or not. The divine is taking over. Justice is like an energy outside of you, right? That's taking over. Okay. Anything else? Yeah. Again, it's the battle that I said between your authentic self and your not self. You want to be choosing your authentic self. And you've got an amazing tool here as a generator, is to respond to life, and life responds to you. And to trust this. If you're getting a no about a relationship, then obey that no. If you're getting a yes for a relationship, then obey that yes. Yeah. But don't let the pride and the need to win come in. That's the ego, the not self. And then the Seven of Wands is to defend the yes or no, right? You're defending your authenticity. Okay. And let's see, that's the generators. And then let's go for the MGs, the manifesting generators. And we're talking about the new moon and the 40th. It's activating the 40th gate. And this is a major theme that's coming to a close for the Cross of the Sleeping Phoenix that comes in 2027. Is that 4037? That's the heartbeat of the Cross of Planning, this 400-year cycle. And it's about our family. It's about our community. Okay, so we'll do some cards for them MGs. Remember, manifesting generators, if this doesn't resonate with you, listen to the reflector part. Because that's, okay. Oh. Do we have another card? Another card for the MGs. Card for the manifesting generators. What's an ego card for the manifesting generators? What's an ego card for the manifesting generators? What's an ego card for the manifesting generator? Okay. Okay. So the MG, the manifesting generator, has got the people-pleasing card, the ego card, and then the hide heartbreak card. And then the 10 of Wands. And then the 6 of Swords. Okay. So the MG's got to be leaving. They're got to go depart, moving on. They got to get moving on. They're burned out by something, the manifesting generators. So let's bring it back to manifesting generators. Let's bring it back to this full moon or new moon, right? So it's activating the 40th. And the 40.6 that I talked about at the beginning of the video, just a reminder, it's called the keynote for the 6th line. So whenever you have a 6th line, it's like highly mutative. It's called, the keynote is decapitation. And what does that mean? It means to take your power back. It's able, the full moon, or why am I calling it the full moon? The new moon and the 40, I think because it's got that 6th line in it, actually. That's why I'm flubbing. So the 40.6 with decapitation is like, emotionally, you're going to know who keeps their word, who keeps their word, who keeps their promises, who has integrity, who am I giving my power over to someone that does not deserve that. Nobody deserves anybody, actually, for you to give your power over to. You should never give your power over to anyone. Okay? But you'll start to see this with this new moon cycle that we're in. It's called decapitation because it's about taking my power back. I'm not giving my power over to this person anymore, right? Or to this job or this situation as an MJ. Yeah. So, and remember, this is a transit chart. This is a transit chart. You have your own natal chart, and that's your authenticity, is your natal chart. This is the channel of logic. If you don't have this channel, then this isn't you, but this is the program, right? So the test here is getting persuaded by logic in order to stay in a family situation, right? A marriage situation, a community situation. It could be a workplace situation where there's groups of people, basically, right? This 4037, right? You want to be going to your strategy, right? And your strategy as an MG is to listen to this, your sacral, with the yes or no. So you're burdened by something. You're ready to let go of a burden for this new moon cycle. So this is a burden, a responsibility maybe you're holding, right? You're holding through, maybe you feel responsible for your family or groups of people, community, friends, things like that. And you're being this is the foundation of this new moon, which is fear, right? Needing security, fear, and guilt, and feeling guilty. Well, of course I need to take care of this family member. They're my family member. That's what you're supposed to do. That's the tribe, right? And why we do that is because we don't want to feel guilty. As soon as you start standing up for yourself and standing up for your authenticity, then you're going to be met with this. And that's the tribe coming out. And the tribe is losing its power now. This is this 4037. You sacrifice your authenticity. You sacrifice your power for the group, for the good of the group. Whatever the group is, the community, the family, the marriage, whatever it is, right? So, but what you're doing is you're avoiding feeling guilty. And that's the not self. That's the not self game. You don't want to be playing this game or getting caught up in logic. Oh, that makes sense. As soon as you're up in logic and it's not you, right? You're out of your power. This is where your power is, MG. Is down here at your sacral. So, and then you've got, so it's time to let go of this burden. The great thing, it's a 10, and 10 means completion, right? You're completing something. You're burned out on this obligation. It's not correct for you anymore. Remember, this is Virgo, the 40.6, right? It's Virgo. Virgo energy is like about sorting, isn't it, right? Not sort. No, that's not for me. Yes, this is for me. And Virgo, the archetype of Virgo it's called the Virgin because it's not about sexuality, right? The Virgin knows the purity of their own soul. You know the purity of your own self, of your authenticity, and that's what you're choosing. That's what you're choosing. So this is time to move on. Time to move on from this burden that you've been carrying for a long time, right? It's time to depart. It's time to go into calmer waters. Calmer waters now. And this new moon is going to help you to make that choice, right? And what you're doing is you're choosing yourself, choosing self-love. And then letting go of this. This is more guilt, right? This is the ego telling you got to people please. You have to people. That will make people unhappy if I do this. Go to the truth. It will make me feel guilty. And I've got to deal with these feelings of guilt, right? And all I do is I just feel them and I let them go. Everybody's got to deal with this tribal consciousness, how we've been controlled and conditioned through guilt, shame, and fear. Okay? So the get out of this people-pleasing dynamic, MGs, telling people what they want to hear, right? Yeah. So let it go of a people-pleasing dynamic for this new moon. And then you're doing it because you want to hide this. And it's just like what I said to the generators, right? A major theme in the cross of the sleeping phoenix is 59. And the 59 is about being honest. It's about being vulnerable. And your vulnerability is your strength. This is the new way for the cross of the sleeping phoenix. So this is like, I'll be this chameleon for this person and people please, and I'll tell them whatever they want to hear, and I'll inflate their ego for them. And meanwhile, what's going on is I have a broken heart, right? That I don't want to deal with, that I don't want to focus on, and I'm going to hide behind this people pleasing. But now you're burdened. This is a burden to live this lie. It's not about living lies anymore, MG. It's about being truthful and honest. So it's time to take off your I'm fine face. I'm fine mask. It's time to take that off, right? And start to be really, really authentic, right? So if you're judging people that show their emotions, or they're vulnerable, or they're honest, or you're avoiding those people, that's about you. It's you refusing to feel your broken heart. And there's power here. This is the work that we're to do now, right? What else do I want to say here? So you want to be standing in this Nine of Pentacles energy. This is the Empress in training right here. She's self-reliant, right? She's not people-pleasing, right? She's not carrying a bunch of wood on her back like a martyr. She's not doing any of that. She's not influenced by this. That's not her, this guilt and security, right? She's not influenced by that. So it's time to let that go for this new moon and not to be exhausted. Remember, the 40 is the shadow of exhaustion. As soon as you start using your own personal willpower to prop up your not self, you're going to have digestive issues. You're going to have stomach issues, right? Your body will show you that you're completely out of alignment. So this is a time, this fall, it's really about purging. It's really about purging and purifying and coming more and more into your authenticity and letting all this stuff go, right? This people-pleasing dynamic and hiding behind a mask, right? It's exhausting. It's exhausting. And it's time to move on. Leaving something behind. Leaving an old self behind. Yeah. Okay. Okay. Yeah. There's nothing to be afraid of. Carry 111. Nothing to be afraid of. This is a time. This is an exciting time. We're here. We're seeing the breakdown. We're seeing the breakdown, but we're also here to see the creation of this new earth, right? Okay. What are we on now? Let's go for the Manifestor. Let's go for the Projector, actually. We're going to go to the Projector. So, Projectors, you want to watch the beginning of the video and go more into depth here. We're talking about the new moon and the 40. So remember, as a Projector, you are the new leader of this new age, new leader. And I'm sure you're feeling it. So it's all about now, as a Projector, as you're going through the upgrade. You're going through an upgrade. Going through an upgrade. Okay, so let's do some cards for the Projector. Okay. Has anybody had eye issues out there? Even if you're watching this on the replay, write something down in the comment. So all these weird things happening now. It's this time. Time is speeding up. Time is speeding up. Okay. What do we have for our Projector friends? What's the ego telling our Projector friends? Okay. Okay. Because my eyes have been twitching and they've been watering a little bit. And they're not allergies. I've never had allergies. It just feels like an upgrade. Okay. Okay, we have another card for the... Okay. Oh, that's interesting. Okay, so our projector friends got secrets. That's the ego card, the secrets. And fishing for compliments. And then the King and Queen of Wands. Okay. So let's see here. So with with the 40, well, let's look at work first, because this is a love gate. The 40th is also a love gate. You know, and it's not knowing your worth. Not knowing your worth here. So I think that's a big issue for projectors, is not knowing their worth. Because we lived in a generator, we live and lived in a generator, manifesting generator world. And they really don't know what to make of the projectors, right? Who's that one over there that's always got a book in their hand? And right, they're lazy. They're just the projection on them because we don't have the same energy as the MGs and the Gs. Right, so there's the worth issues, the 40, because the 40 is the gate of deliverance. Deliverance. Deliver. So to deliver for a projector, right, when invited, recognized and invited, to deliver means to guide, right? Is to guide that person, that other type, to guide the energy of the other type to their authenticity. That's what we do, right? Because as a projector, this is the G center here, the G center. This is the sense of self, sense of love and direction. So the projector's aura is focused and absorbed, and its focus is right on the G center of the other. So that's where that's the energy that you work with, and you're able to discern new moon in the 40 in Virgo. That's a big word for Virgo, is discernment. We're able to discern what's authentic and what's not authentic, and we're able to guide that other type, right, to their authenticity, So we're able to recognize. We're here to be recognized, but we also recognize the other. You're able to recognize the gifts of the other. You're able to recognize the authenticity of the other, and also the fakeness of the other, right? This is an awake projector, right? Living as themselves. They have that gift. So we've got secrets. So what's the ego telling projectors? To keep secrets. Keep secrets. And this means not take accountability. Not take accountability with the 40, which can be exhausting, right? That's the 40. It's the shadow of exhaustion. Exhaustion to keep track of all those secrets. So giving you a sense of power and control. So not speaking the truth here. And then fishing for compliments. So that's the ego's looking to get complimented by others, and it comes from a deep insecurity. And a compliment is different than being recognized. As a projector, you want to be recognized for your gifts and talents. And so you don't go and try to manipulate a recognition from someone. It has to be sincere, because recognition is at an energetic level. It's not about the words, because somebody can tell you that knows human design, and they can use it to manipulate you, right? The not self. They can give you the words, right? But the words don't have any power, because the truth is actually in the energy, You know when you've been recognized. And the person may say 3 words to you, right? But the energy is there. The opening is there. They've opened up their aura to you. There's this beautiful exchange that happens, right? Or you can have somebody that's got all the word salad, but the energy isn't there. It's false, right? So that's what I would say, is to just to be warned about this. Be warned about this, about secrets and fishing for compliments. Because what we're dealing here, projectors, is these. Remember, this is a transit chart. It's not your birth. It's not your birth chart, right? You've got your own natal chart. So this is the channel of logic. This is community. This is community. So to watch this, right? Because we don't have the sacral that says yes or no, like a generator, right? We're recognized, but still you have to have some kind of energetic awareness as a projector, because you feel lit up when you feel lit up. So I would not go into the mind, right? That's desperate for an invitation. That's desperate to be recognized. Yeah. And then you've got the King and Queen of Wands. So that's the masculine and feminine energy of this, or the masculine and feminine expression of this energy, and it's fire energy. It's leadership. It's leadership. Leadership, being confident, right? Being confident, all those things. Visionary leadership, confident and charismatic. Okay. What do we want to say about this? Well, the one thing, let's bring it back to relationships, which are very important for the projectors, is one-on-one relationships. Is the 40th the 40th gate is also a love gate, and that's earning. When you're not self, you feel like you have to earn love. You have to earn the love of the other, Yeah. Right? And that's not true, especially if this is open. If this is open natally, you're not here to prove yourself, and that you don't need to earn the love of the other, because love is already there inside you. You're not trying to get it, right? This fishing for compliments is like throwing a harpoon at somebody and trying to get love. It's trying to get love. This is listening to the ego. It's to remember that you already are love. No matter what relationship status you're in right now, you are this. That's your frequency. This is not emotional, right? This is not emotional. Emotional love is like the cross of planning love. It's the Piscean age love, right? And we're taught to go out. We need to earn it. We need to prove that we're special and that we're talented and gifted and all that stuff. And it's not true, right? The love is already inside you. Yeah. Okay. I feel like there's something else for the projectors here. Yeah, just because it's the King and Queen of Wands, to look at your relationships. Where you're fishing for compliments, where do you don't feel recognized, and maybe you're making excuses. Maybe that's the secret, right? The secret that you're keeping is that you're making excuses for these people in your life. Well, no, they're okay, right? They're okay. They're correct for me. They recognize me. Do they really recognize you, or are you fishing? Do you have to fish for a compliment? You've got to manipulate and try to get that recognition out of them. Then no, they're not for you. They're not for you. So I would go to this, like stand back in your throne. The King and Queen of Wands, they don't, right? A king and queen of any of the suits, they're not running around looking for something. They stay in their throne. So as a projector, you sit in your throne and you don't fish for compliments. You don't fish for compliments. You stay there, right? Yeah. And let and let the others be attracted to you, to be attracted to you for recognition and invitation. Okay. Yeah. So one-on-one relationships are really, really key. Even if you're, as a projector, if you're in a group situation, you'll notice, Ross said this, as soon as a projector is in a room with two people, one of those people is not going to like the projector, because we can only focus on one person at a time, right? So even in a group, you've got to focus on one person, right? So hopefully they're in the center of the room, so it looks like you're looking at everybody, but your laser beam aura can only go to one person, right? Yeah. Okay. Sit in your throne. You're not a beggar. King and queens do not go out and beg. Yeah. So it's trusting your aura will draw the people in that are correct for you. Okay. And then with the 40 projectors, can be the gate of denial. It can be the gate of no. You can say, no, you don't have access to my energy, right? Especially if it's a low quality invitation. You're not really being recognized or invited. It's not a high quality invitation, meaning they don't really see you. Then you can say no, but you stay in your throne, right? You're present. You're present. You don't go out and get. You just stay present in your power. Okay. But this is a lot to do with work. Your work as a projector. Okay. Hopefully that helps with the projector. Let's go for the manifestor. Okay. So we're going for the manifestors. Okay, we'll do that. And for the manifestors. Taking accountability. Okay. What do we have for the manifestors? 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 Okay. Our manifestor friends. Some guidance for our manifestors. Okay. Okay. Interesting. So the manifestors got the authority card. I think we got this last reading too, but I don't think the manifestors got it. The 10 of Swords, kind of like the MGs, they got the 10 of Wands. And then the Fool card. The Fool card. Okay, so you're dealing with an authority figure here, manifestors. So this could be anyone. This is anyone that you perceive as having power over you. Okay, so we're talking about this new moon in the 40th. Very, very important. And this is breaking down, right? So this is about work, your work. It could be about a community that you belong to, too. This is community. This is family, your family of origin. Maybe your nuclear family, your marriage, right? Any community that you belong to here that's important to you. Groups of people, basically, right? Well, this 40 is breaking down. for this new moon cycle. So this is, it's about your work. And so somebody in your life you've projected upon as having authority over you. So this could be your husband, it could be your partner, could be your spouse, right? Could be someone in your community, it could be your boss, it could be a landlord, someone that you perceive as having authority over you, right? And what you've done is you've given your power over to them. And as soon as you do this as a manifestor, you're out of your power. So it's about letting this go, right? And it's about trying to fit in. So remember, we've got the channel of logic up here. This is a transit, not your natal chart. So if you have the channel of logic, Waiguru, that's you. And then you've got the 4037, both of these. And you've got this whole other energy of security, which is about fear, getting rid of fear, and then guilt, right? So an authority figure for this new moon cycle, maybe they're in your life right now. Maybe it's your father. It could even be your father or parent, right? It could be your mother or your father coming at you with logic, right? Coming at you with doubt. Maybe you have doubt, and then this authority figure is coming out with logic. Well, you should do this because, but 1, 2, 3, right? 1, 2, 3 equals 6, right? Logic. But it's not self. This is not self, right? Because what are you supposed to be listening to? You're not supposed to be listening to any of this. You're supposed to be listening to your own divine downloads. Right? You're not supposed to be listening to logic unless it's you, right? But what this logic is about, like, stay in this group of people, this community, this family, these karmic relationships, right? Stay here because it makes sense, right? Right? So what you're doing is you're giving your power, you're outsourcing. I'm going to let that person be my authority figure for me. And then I'll make my decisions based on what they say. That's not the manifestor way, right? That's what the not self is telling you. And it's saying this old way for you is coming to an end. It's a painful ending, this Ten of Swords. Maybe you're going to, or maybe you've already seen this betrayal, right? The Ten of Swords is about betrayal. Maybe you've already seen this betrayal, right? The truth comes out. Right? You're exhausted from it. You feel hurt. It's coming to an end. This old cycle of giving away your power over to a so-called authority figure. It's about taking your power back, right? And then you're going on the Fool's Journey. This is the very beginning of the deck. This is a new chapter. It's a new chapter for you. And isn't it amazing as a manifestor, where are you going to end up? Where am I going to end up? Well, the fool doesn't know. The fool's got his little knapsack, which means like bare minimum he's bringing with him. He's letting go of all this baggage from the past. It's not physical, right? Emotional baggage from the past. And then moving free, going on an adventure. So letting go of this authority figure, whoever this is, it's time to let go of. Right? This time in the fall is about letting go of a lot of these karmic relationships. Right? People are choosing now. They're choosing the timeline. Are they going to choose not self, hive mind, that group, or are they going to choose their authentic self? Right? Are they going to choose their authentic self? Are they going to be self-reliant, right? The Nine of Pentacles. Yeah. That looks really easy to me. That was an easy read, unlike the Projector. Okay. Anything else about that? Again, you just want to go back to your authenticity, right? So waiting for the divine download, the inspiration, the idea. Who do I need to inform? Who will this impact? And then I do that, and then I start to initiate. Yeah. It's not, there's nowhere in there that I say you need to go and give your power away to an authority figure, right? That's not in there for the manifestors. Okay, so it's time to claim your power for this new moon, especially in your work and community, right? Even in your family of origin, it's time to grow up and stand in your power. Okay. So let's go to the reflector. And the beauty of the reflector is it's the wrap up. It's the wrap up of all the types here. Okay. So what do we have for our reflector friends? 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 What's the ego telling our reflector friends and the other types? Okay. Okay. What do we have for a reflector? What's the guidance for our reflectors? Okay, it's 3. I'll take that. Okay, the reflectors. And then this is the other types too. Is distracted. That's the ego's keeping you distracted and busy. And then the other 3 cards are the sorrow card, the 3 of swords, and then the 7 of pentacles, and then the 9 of swords. So there's the root of it. With this 3 of swords is heartbreak. And somebody mentioned this already in the chat, right? It's about feeling that grief, right? And what's the grief? It's the loss. Our world's never going to be the same. There can be a loss. We can feel loss. We've either like physically met with loss in our life so far through death, right? Through massive changes in our life, especially since 2020. Well, that's the residual, is the heartbreak. That's not wrong. It just means that there's what it means to be human. So sadness, grief, sorrow, upset, loss, trauma, fears, heartbreak. Okay, and then the 9 of swords is all up at night with anxiety, fear, despair. And this is about not wanting to feel the heartbreak, right? It's just to stay up in your head and not feel this. Okay. And then the ego is also telling you so maybe you've been up at night, maybe you've been getting up at weird hours with this anxiety. And anxiety is one of the wake-up calls, right? More and more people are going to start to feel this, experience this anxiety, the insomnia, because it's the soul. The soul is trying to wake up. It's trying to wake up, come out of its dream state, come out of the matrix, right? So it can come with anxiety. Anxiety is going to be massive on the planet. So distracted, this is the ego trying to distract you, right? Being busy to escape from boredom, depression, escape from the sense of failure, from this anxiety, from this heartbreak. And it's an avoidance of emotional pain, right? This busy, busy, busy. So, and this fits with the 40. The 40 is all about work. It's about love of work or the not love of work. It's about working. And this is breaking down the 40-37, the way that we work, right? It's going to become contribution. That's what Uranus is telling us. Uranus goes retrograde, right? That's the 8. That's the gate of contribution. What's my contribution? It's a completely different dynamic than this tribal bargain, right? I exchanged my time and my energy for appreciation that comes in the form of a paycheck. That's all changing, right? Or the way that we work is changing. Yeah. So you've got the 7 of Pentacles here, reflectors. So this is about harvest, rewards. It's about patience. It's waiting for the harvest, right? It's about investment. It's about investment. You've made the investment in yourself, right? And you're waiting. So while you're waiting, because maybe you're impatient, right? It's like I put all this work in and I'm not seeing the return on my investment yet. In terms of my relationships and in my work and my family and my community, I'm not seeing it. Well, this is your work, right? This is your work. It's to do this emotional work, to get to the bottom of these emotions, this emotional pain. So as soon as you start getting compulsive, up in your head, up in your mind, about I've got to do this and I've got to do that, and I'm distracted, I'm moving from one thing to the next, you've got to ask yourself, what am I avoiding? What am I avoiding right now? And not listen to the logic. Well, I've got to pay my rent, and I got to do this, and I got to, I got these bills, and I have to get this project done, and it just makes sense that I spend my time doing this. That's the logic you don't want to be listening to, and you don't have this as a reflector because you're all open centers, right? So that I can belong to some kind of community, that I can belong to some kind of workplace. No, this is your time to get empowered as an individual. Get ready for this fall, to get really, it's really necessary that you know your own frequency now. You know your own authenticity. You can feel it. It's like, this is my frequency. I own it, right? Especially as a reflector, right? I mean, because you're going with the cycles of the moon, you need time to spend alone as a reflector in solitude, right? To discharge all that energy. The other thing too is to not get caught up in this program about fear. Well, I need security, so I better stay with this group of people, this community, even though they're choosing a completely different timeline than me, right? They're going for the hive mind. Not self world, right? I better go with them, right? I'll be guilted out if I go on my own and I actually listen to my own authority, my strategy and authority, right? I'll be guilted out, right? So this is what you don't want to be listening to now. Yeah. What else with this? And just perseverance. That's been a big theme for all the types, actually, is to stand strong. Stand strong in your authenticity and your own inner knowingness. And this too shall pass, right? But we're coming to the end, right? With Pluto going into Capricorn until November 19th. Yeah. We have to be strong right now. Okay. Okay, everybody. So that's what I have. And I will see you in the next video. So remember to be yourself. The best use of your time right now is to really get to know who you are. Know your, at least your type. learn, like there's lots of free stuff on human design to get to learn more and more about who you are. That's the best use of your time, the best investment of your time right now. And then to stand by your authenticity. We know what's true for us and what's not. You know, you don't want to get into denial. That's the 40. It's about denying that we know, that we don't know, that we know, we don't know, right? You do know. Okay, and then the Twin Flames next session is tomorrow, so you can still join in there. And if you sign up right away, you'll get the first a class. I think it's 3.5 hours so far. Yeah, 3.5 hours. Okay, but have a great weekend, and this is our last weekend before it really starts to get crazy. Right? But I'll be doing the next video on that. Okay, so enjoy the new moon and set your intention. Virgo is also about your health. I'll be talking more about health and your immune system. So just setting your intention. Virgo is about sorting, discernment, who belongs in my life, who doesn't, what belongs in my life, what doesn't, right? Like really getting clear right now. It's important to do that, okay? Okay, so I will see you next video, everybody. Take care. Bye-bye.